Oirat's starting situation is a bit of a weird one. You only have 17,000 units as well as 10,000 belonging to your vassal, Mongolia, which is a tad bit disloyal. But don't let that worry you, it's gonna be a-okay in a few seconds. First thing we want to do is go to our estate, summon the diet, go for whichever agenda best suits us, or better yet, the only agenda that we can actually get, followed up by seizure of land and sell titles to get a little bit of extra cash that will definitely help us out in the early game. Set Chagatai and Uzbek as your rivals. These are the only two available rivals at the start, so you do have to set them as your rivals. Start moving your troops into the south of your nation. Make Mongolia loyal by placating ruler once and deving up some of the lands that you have cores on within Mongolia, so that means one of these 4 provinces here. Dev them twice, so that means once for production, once for either military or for admin, and then they are going to be super loyal. Continue by improving relations with them as well, and we are going to get an alliance with Korchin. It is really important that you get the alliance with Korchin, as we will be declaring war on Ming within the first month of the game on the 11th of December. We also want to go for these decisions here, and we want to get a morale of armies or a discipline advisor if we have one available. Otherwise, just whatever you have available is fine. As well as we'll be recruiting the free company, and we're going to set them up into the south here. Our starting ruler is also a general, and he is a 5 shock general, so he is an absolute beast. We want to make him in charge of our main army in the south. We don't need any other allies, we don't need any other rivals, nothing of the sorts. The reason for this is because once we declare war on Ming in the next month, we can call in Korchin, and because Korchin is weaker than us, Ming is going to focus mainly on Korchin. We will let them siege down Korchin, and we're going to be looking out for the Emperor of China, as the Ming get a special event that makes their Emperor a general. We just need to defeat the enemy general in a battle, and after we've defeated him, Ming, we will get a very special event. It is the 11th of December, and I am going to declare on Ming. Go for the Take Mandate of Heaven CB, which means that you only get 50% aggressive expansion for whatever provinces you do take from Ming, and call in Korchin, promise them land, declare your war. Even though you are outnumbered 2-1 or even 3-1, you're still gonna have an easy time in this war as long as you follow my steps. Ming will ask you to become a tributary state. Do not accept that. The reason we are attacking Ming directly from the start is because in 1.31 Ming always attacks you within the first few months, so you don't have time to attack Chagatai first for the gold mine in Kuka, so you have to attack Chagatai after your Ming war. It is very important that you set your vassal Mongolia to supportive, and that you've set your mercenary company to allow friendly armies to attach, so that you have 18,000 between your mercs and your vassal and 17,000 from your main army force, commanded by the Chad ruler that we start off with. We also are gonna look for the enemy emperor Qi Zhenzhu. There he is. Now we just have to wait until he gets a little bit further from the rest of the Ming armies, single him out, win a battle against him, and that will trigger the event that you shall see in a few seconds. We managed to catch Qi Zhenzhu here in a separate province, and we're pretty much gonna stack wipe this army. There you go. After we've won and even stack wiped his army, we get the onwards to Beijing modifier until the death of our own king, which gives us plus 20 morale of armies and siege ability plus 25, as well as it lowers the mandate by quite a lot. It also gives the Ming a separate really bad event with horrible modifiers, so you're basically going to be able to stack wipe the Chinese armies one by one like there's no tomorrow. And it's stack wiperoni town. We got a 1 army down, or sorry, 2 armies down here for the price of 1, and we're going for the rest of their armies. But most importantly, we're going to siege down Beijing, since taking down Beijing, or at least sieging down Beijing, gives us a second special event that basically transfers all of North Ming to us. That means all of North Ming is going to be controlled by us from this second event. I like how they're actually attacking my armies, but they're getting stack wiped when they attack my armies. Despite being smaller, my armies are like 10 times better than theirs, and because of the siege ability, we're taking down Beijing ridiculously fast also. Look at this, another army that just got stack wiped because of the fact that, you know, they just rushed in. Oh, never mind, they got reinforcements. All right, we're gonna have to help them out, but we got the event of Ming, and that means we got all of North China under our control. And with that, it means that their mandate's gonna go lower and lower until it pretty much dies out. And there you go, as I was saying, another stack and Vipin. It also means we can do one of our missions here, the Tumu Crisis, that gives us 20 army tradition and some horde unity. At this point, it is up to you what you do. After this event, the mandate goes down to 0, so I recommend that you go for 100% in this war, which means you just have to wipe out a couple more of their armies. If you really need to, you can also hire a few more companies, mercenary companies that is. Whichever has more shock damage from their general is probably the best ones. So my situation, that would be these guys. I'm gonna hire them here and use them in my war against Ming. Despite the fact that Korchin peaced out, we should still be okay. Hire as many mercenary companies as you need to. You're gonna get all the money back from Ming. This is what we're going for in the first war. We want to take Beijing so that we destroy their mandate once and for all. They cannot recover the mandate without Beijing, to be fair, and a few other provinces here and there, plus all the cash that we can get from them. Also, take note, you have a few cores here that belong to your vassal Mongolia, so if you want, you can just take these 3 provinces in the next war rather than the first war against Ming, which means you can probably take more lands into the south if you want to snake there, or even into the central parts. The amazing and the brave Ming troops have been stack wiped. There's literally no more troops to fight us, so now we're just gonna carpet siege everything else that is left in China. I've gotten 66% war score. I am gonna peace out and not really going for 100, and here's the reason why. I can get all the money that I want from them, which is close to 3,000 ducats, Beijing, the provinces in the west that I need, and also they're getting a lot of rebels, which means that they're gonna start breaking apart and I can just pick the nations one by one. Another very important thing to note is that I'm gonna attack Ming again right now by attacking Cradle. Going for the either subjugation or tribal feud against Cradle means that I can be at war with Ming a second time. I also can embrace the institution, by the way, now because of the newly added provinces in this area, which are already feudal lands. I will also be raising all of these newly added provinces here. After I've raised them, I'm also going to be concentrating development in these parts to get a little bit of extra dev in my own capital, which means that overall economically I'm going to be doing extremely well. If you have any loans, you should be able to pay them off, and from raising all these lands you should be able to adopt Miltech 4 and Admin Tech 4. You can core up all of these lands as well, but take note that because you will be attacking Ming right now, it's not going to make any difference if you start coring these up now, since you literally will not be able to core them. They're going to stop at 0 since you're at war with Ming again. One more thing to note is that you can actually start integrating Mongolia right now. You don't need to wait until 54 for some reason in 1.31. After you've started this, if they have a little bit lower liberty desire, you can also concentrate development in their lands for a little bit of extra development to your main capital. And by little, I really mean little. It's like 3 dev, but it's better than no dev. Now that you have more cash and are slightly bigger, you can recruit the independent company, grand company, and even a second free company to fight alongside you, as well as the Mongol mercenaries. But that would be a bit of an overkill. You don't need to recruit the Mongol mercenaries. Get the new independent, grand, and free company, as we will use them to fight against the Ming right now after we've recruited them. Alright, we got a little bit of morale for these companies, and we're going to be attacking Cradle, which is a tributary of Ming, which is why Ming is at war with us once more, and we're going to wipe out their armies once more. This second war against Ming is not meant to get you any actual land. You could take a few provinces if you want, but most importantly, take another 2.5k gold from them. I also can take a couple of provinces. I don't mind. The main idea is that we're just taking these lands and we're gonna piece them out once we destroy their armies and we see that they have rebel problems. They got Mongolian separatists, they got Jin ones. In the south, they already have nations splitting off, such as Yi, and we're gonna bring our troops here again, finish off Cradle, and guess what? We're going for another war against the Maheng. It can happen that Ming is gonna go bankrupt, and if that's the case, then we don't need to worry about them until our truce expires in 63. Until that time, we're gonna be conquering a buttload of other lands around. We will still proceed with attacking Kham, and through the alliance network that is available in 1.31, I'm literally attacking all of Tibet in one war, and we will be annexing all of these bad boys here in this one war. And because of Ming starting to fragment, Jin appeared, and we will be, of course, attacking Jin. We shall redirect this army over to the Jin provinces to fully annex them also. And of course, it's going to be a full annexation for Jin, which is quite good land actually, and it is going to give us a ton of mana points. This also means we've become a great power, and we can also adopt the ahead of time diplotech as we already did the military tech. When dealing with the Tibetans, you have two issues right now. First issue is you don't have enough war score to take all of Tibet because it's just way too big. So you could alternatively vassalize one of these nations like I did with you and feed them some of these parts, or just separately piece out these nations for extra aggressive expansion and for a bit of extra diplo points. If you're going for a world conquest, it could be worth it. If you're not going for a world conquest and just for a little bit of a chill Asia conquest, you could just peace out, come, and then afterwards take the rest of these nations in future wars. But if that's the case, then you should not have co-belligerented everybody. I personally just did it to show off that you can do that in 1.31. After you've solidified your position within the Chinese realms and you're ready for the war against Chagatai, go ahead and declare, set your war target something that's easy to take from the start of the war, and they might ally Kazan, Multan, or Uzbek. Even if they do so, it's really not a massive issue. These nations are really easy to take out, and what we will be doing is we'll be focusing on Chagatai itself. We don't necessarily need to go for 100%. What we need to go for is just a snake over to other lands into Transoxiana, as well as take their gold mine in Kuka. At some point, your amazing starting ruler will die, and you're gonna get another ruler, which is kind of random the stats, so it can be pretty bad or pretty good, but you will lose the 20% extra morale of armies, so keep that into account whenever you're fighting new battles after your main guy dies. We've gotten 80%, and that's enough of what we're looking for. We're gonna take the western parts of Chagatai as well as the gold mine in Yarkand, and after this, as always, remember to first off raise the provinces, and after we've raised them, if there's anything left, we can also concentrate development to bring whatever is left to our capital. I recommend that you do not raise Kuka since you want to keep the gold development here. And right after this war, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be attacking Uzbek, and if they are, for example, allied with Nogai and Great Horde and whatever else, co-belligerate those nations, since for example we want to make a big line over from Uzbek all the way to the Great Horde. And as always, set a target that is close to you when you do declare your war. That means in my case I'll set my target to this, Declario, Complicatio, and let's go over here. Within just a few years we managed to pretty much take most of the forts they have. We just need to take Saratov, and also we need to defeat their armies. I've basically stack wiped every single army I've encountered since the beginning of this war, since it is quite easy to do as the Oirat. There you go, another stack wipe here. So the thing now is that we're gonna peace out the nation of Uzbek. We literally will just make a dash line for the western part. That means we're gonna split all these countries into half so that we get a border with Kazan and this area which we have an interest in. Peace them out, and after we've pieced them out, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start marching back towards Ming. Our truce is over with Ming, which means that we can attack them again for the Mandate of Heaven, but as always, do not actually take the Mandate of Heaven. We're literally just gonna be going for the Bank of Ming to withdraw a big amount of money. Before you do attack, make sure you make them your rival so you get a bit of extra PP, and of course do the same old thing here, raise the land before you core them up. We got 6 military and 6 diplotech by 1464. Despite being a horde, we have the best technology in the world. Obviously we're lagging behind with our admin, but it's not a massive deal. Our land force limit is also going up considerably, which means that we can start actually recruiting proper cavalry units, since we have a buttload of manpower we're not even using, since we've basically just used mercenaries up until now. Remember, when you attack Ming, you want to use the Mandate of Heaven for the 50% aggressive expansion rather than going for 100% aggressive expansion that you would otherwise have to go for. And you should still be able to get quite a bit of money from Ming. They're not collapsed completely just yet, so they should give you out at least 2,000 ducats. There you go, we can get 2,100, and of course we're also going to get a few other provinces as well. The rebels are kicking Ming's ass. 2 more nations sprung out, so we're going to just piece them out before we cannot even get 2k. If too many rebels pop out, you cannot get that much money from Ming, so I'll only be taking the borderlands here in the north. I'll keep this not taken because they have Mongol separatists, so this should become mine without me even having to take it. I'm also going to be attacking the 2 just formed nations right now, namely Yan and Shun. And there you go, we also can get our Admin Tech 5 from all the raising of lands. And because we have so much extra military power, we're gonna go for our first idea, which is obviously gonna be Horde ideas. This is gonna help us a lot, especially because of the plus 25 unity that we desperately need. And we can also pay off all of our loans now, as well as recruit even more armies and disband the old depleted mercenary companies now. Taking over all of the smaller Chinese entities here really boosts up our economy, and it also helps us get ready for the wars with Jiangsu and the other nations in Manchu. Also be careful with rebels. I apparently have some no-gay rebels here that want to come out of the closet, but I'm not gonna let them. I've got so much extra points that I'm gonna spawn in Renaissance. I know a lot of you have been asking, oh, how do you deal with institutions in Asia? Well, this is how you deal with it. You spawn them in. When spawning in institutions, make sure you spawn it in the cheapest province to have it spawned in. It is preferred if that province is of your religion, but it's not mandatory. It's all okay. Encourage development, so you have a bit of development cost reduction, and start spawning it in. You do that by just developing that province. There you go. Every single time I click this, I get a little bit more of this institution spawned in here. Obviously, use the points that you have a lot of extra, but it doesn't mean that you can only use those. Use whatever you have available. Few more points and we will be a Renaissance capable nation. Remember, there's certain wars you can do just for the financial aspect, so you can get a bit of extra cash to fuel the other wars that you have going, not just because of the mana points and the overall province gain. When taking over the Manchurian side, you can always vassalize one of these nations like you did in the Tibetan area and just feed them the cores if you wish to, so that they core these up. Of course, you would take this directly for yourself first, so you can raise it before you give it to your vassal, as that basically gives you extra mana points. And with these mana points, you can level up your technology here faster than you otherwise would be able to, of course. There you go, we can get actually tech level 7 for Diplo, but we're still gonna increase our Renaissance boost here. Hopefully we can get our Renaissance spawned, and we just did. Now we gotta wait for this to spread around to adjacent provinces. We need 10% Renaissance before we can embrace this. Alternatively, you can just increase the technology here a little bit more. That means dev it up a bit more, get a loan, and then we can embrace Renaissance. Booyah. Now we don't need to stress about being behind in tech or behind in institutions, better yet. 1477, and we've snaked our way everywhere. We have easy access into Europe, easy access into South Asia, as well as pretty much have tentacled everywhere into the Manchurian side as well. We are very much okay technologically, and we have all of the institutions. We are actually the most advanced nation technologically in the world, have a massive army, a great economy, and the Bank of Ming whenever we needed to. In fact, I actually recommend that you sometimes kill off some of their rebels so they stay more or less intact for you to just withdraw some money when you need it. So when it comes to your later expansion, especially if you're going for a world conquest, finish off the Manchurian side and go into the Japanese areas, so you have this area secured. By securing that area, you can just focus your armies everywhere else. Attack the Indian parts for the extra economy. Move into the Tatar lands. 1 or 2 wars should be enough to finish all of these guys off, and then munch your way into Europe, with Africa being the last vestige not conquered by you. That being said, if you want to do a fast Oirat's world conquest, you should focus on Europe first, swipe over and steal the emperorship from the Austrians, and at the same time work your armies in the eastern parts to conquer Asia. Idea wise, go for the Horde ideas, which in 1.31 is a new idea set and is a great idea set, followed up by admin ideas, humanist, diplo influence, based on what you need more